And we are live. I'm here with Levi Steedman. Levi, thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. Thank you for having me again.
Well, I doubt there'll be many people joining us live at this time in the morning, but I'm sure we'll get a few views later on. If anyone is watching, feel free to drop Levi a question. But I really wanted to speak to you. You're one of the people that I've been so looking forward to coming back and seeing what you've been doing in the gym. By the time this fight comes around, you're going to have been out of the cage for 1 year and 5 months, which for someone like you must just be horrendous.
It's crazy, to be honest. It does feel longer. But then, like I said, a lot of people have said to me, like, once I got the fight confirmed, it was like, oh my God, you got a fight after so long. But I'm kind of happy it's happened like this. It's almost been like a blessing in disguise because I've had, 1 year and 5 months to get better, which I think I definitely needed.
Yeah.
So it should be a good one, I think.
And at the beginning of the first proper lockdown, I could see you were kind of going mad, not being able to train, and you had your heavy bag at home and you were like elbowing in the living room, in the kitchen, just doing what you can.
I think that was just more out of frustration, I think, because after my last fight, my coach basically said, we can, if you want to go pro, we'll do that, and then obviously we'll work towards that. So I had that idea in my head that I was going to fight pro that year, and literally, I think it was about 3 weeks after that fight, everything got shut down. So I was like, I was just in a bit of a weird limbo situation. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I've obviously got to carry on training, but I've got this idea in my head, and then I was thinking, when I come back, am I going to have to start all over again? Do a couple more amateur fights. But luckily, after a certain amount of time, we got clearance for pro fighters to train. So I've literally not stopped since then, which is good.
So when were you allowed back in the gym? Like, you've been training for a long while now, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact date. It wasn't.
Oh, I can't remember.
It was quite far after the first lockdown, and I think eventually people realised that they could get, like special clearance for like a bubble of people. And luckily, we do have some small guys at my gym who were pro fighters, so we kind of just kept it quite small and, as safe as you possibly could be.
Yeah.
So we've been training, and I've still. I don't feel like I've missed a beat at all. I feel like I've actually got. It's quite cliche, isn't it? People go, when they skip from amateur to pro, and they go, oh, I've got better tenfold, but I literally have, because there's nothing I could do apart from train and get better.
Yeah.
There's no fights or anything like that. So it's been really good. Quite a weird experience, but obviously, hopefully, we're getting to the end of it. So
Yeah. And talking about those small bubbles, like, a lot of fighters have told me that they're getting kind of even more specialized treatment because there's less other people in the gym. So they feel like they're getting better at a faster rate than normal even.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of condensing everything down because you're only with, like, for example, me being fresh from like the amateur scene into the professional scene. I obviously trained with all the pro guys anyway, but like my main training partners were like Abdul Chowdhury and Jake Bond, who obviously have extensive amateur and pro careers. So all I could do was just learn off those guys, and that was like the best thing, possible, really, because like say if you had a full mat of guys, I could end up partnered with Abdul, could end up partnered with Jake, but then I might end up with another amateur guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not learning, but it's like you literally got that one-to-one, experience basically with pro fighters, and you can only get better really with that type of training.
Yeah. And I want to talk about this fight because I'm really excited for it, and I've said it to you and I've said it on Facebook. You don't normally see fighters taking such big risks like early on in their pro career. Everyone wants to protect the eye, and throughout your amateur career, you've fought anyone, and anyone who goes to IMAF is saying they'll fight anyone because you really don't know who you're going to get partnered against. And so you're fighting Megan Morris. This is just one of the fights that makes me so excited and just so pleased to have watched both of you like come through your amateur career, and now you're breaking onto the pro scene. Tell me what you like about the fight.
I mean, to be fair, I really like it. I think it's a good fight. I've actually asked for this fight loads of times, and it's always kind of fell through. Like I think I think like my third or fourth amateur fight was actually scheduled to fight Megan. And it's funny because I do have evidence of this because my nana is like the biggest MMA fan. And every time I get a a fight booked or anything, she'll write it in a calendar. And she's still got the calendar that says Levi versus Megan Morris, like on whatever date. And then the date it got cancelled because she just likes to kind of keep up with everything like that. And it makes me laugh because it's like all roads kind of led to this one.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting fight, obviously. On paper, it looks good as well because she's had an extensive amateur career, and she went to IMAF. I went to IMAF. She was obviously a bit more successful than me, but I think she was doing junior at the time. I was over 21 when I started on IMAF, but it's not IMAF, is it now? So
Yeah.
it should be. I think it's a very good fight, and I think a lot of other people do as well. So it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen. I hope it gets to the fight as well. I hope there's no cancellations or any pullouts, but I'm definitely going to be there. So
yeah, and it's on Anarchy Fight Series, which I don't know anything about, to be honest with you. What is the promotion like? Who's behind it?
I think it's brand new.
Okay.
So Rob Friedman, I think is he the Blackburn Predators coach? And Aaron Woodward? They used to do UK fighting championships, I think.
Right. Okay.
I think they were partnered in that. I'm not too sure, and then they've gone off on their own and they've started this new show. I don't know too much about it, but it's brand new. It'll be the first show. Hopefully they put us as main event. That'd be good. I'd like that.
That would be really good. I was going to say I haven't seen any other fight announcements from the show, so I was wondering if you knew any other matchups on it. It's a banger, the first one I've seen.
Yeah, I think they've announced a couple of amateur like debutants fights, and then obviously our pro debut. But I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of time, isn't there? Until I think it's 2 months today, exactly 2 months today. So they're probably going to be announcing fights, in the coming weeks and things like that. And then these tickets as well, so must be having a crowd, which is good.
Excellent. How do you feel to get back and fight in front of people? You must be buzzing for it.
Yeah, but I'm not really. But I'm honestly not that bothered about it because, like, I've been to fights. I've had fights where I've had no one there. I've had fights where I've had 2 people there. 20 people there. Different. So it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really that bothered because I don't really hear it. The only time you really hear it is when you're just about to walk out, and then Matt Inman, my coach, has always said, like, switch on, only listen to what I'm saying, and then you kind of do. You end up like tunnel vision. I'm sure you've had fights before, haven't you? So you know that you're just listening to that one thing. So crowds don't really bother me, to be honest. And I feel like I'll probably be the away fighter because I think Megan's actually. I don't think she's from Blackburn, but I think she used to train at Blackburn Predators. So she'll probably have a big following there. But I prefer that. Like, I actually get a little bit, I get more riled up like when they've got a big crowd. So I think the last time I was in Birmingham, no, Wolverhampton, I think it was, or Birmingham. Yeah, Birmingham Cage Warriors. I brought 3 people with me, and I was against Danielle Hutt. Is it Danielle Hutt? I can't remember her name, sorry. And she was undefeated at the time, and she had like a massive following there because that's where she was from.
Yeah.
Like a real massive crowd. And then, I won because I just fed off that energy, which was pretty cool. So I don't mind either way. Crowd or no crowd, whatever. I don't mind.
I was going to say, would you have liked the experience of fighting just like with just your corners there? I feel like that would be a good thing to experience as a one-off.
IMAF is a little bit like that. Like, sometimes it depends when you're fighting. So, like, the first couple of days of the tournament, obviously everyone's there because they're buzzing about the competition and people are screaming and shouting. But then eventually, when people start fighting, they're not at the arena. They're more chilling at home, waiting for the next day and stuff like that. And I've fought where you can't really hear that many people, and it's just kind of. I think IMAF's a really good experience because you don't know who you're fighting until the day. You've got your corner. Sometimes you've not even got. My corner wasn't any of my coaches. It was just the people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I had Danny Mitchell and Alex Snedden from is it Headhunters in Scotland.
Not a bad corner anyway.
Really good corner, but they didn't know anything about me. It was just more like we was kind of learning on the job, and so yeah, that all those like weird experiences kind of you know, it kind of gives you that confidence that you're not really bothered, you know, on the day. And actually, when the fight happens, I actually won't have my head coach there. I've got Abdul Chowdhury. Abdul's one of my coaches anyway. He knows me probably more than anybody. But Matt's not actually there, so that's, again, that doesn't faze me, to be honest, because, you know, he's going to be there every day of my prep for this fight. He doesn't have to be there on the day. You know, I've still got familiar, you know, faces and voices, so that's all I need, really.
So that's Matt Inman, for anyone who doesn't know, that's your head coach. So is he cornering somebody else already that day? Where is he?
I think he's on a stag do.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like he's, you know, it's more important or anything, but he hasn't arranged it. So, like, you know, he's had to go in. It's kind of, you know, he has to go. It's his stag do. He can't exactly go, you guys go without me. So, but there's been times, you know, with plenty of other fighters where he's had to be somewhere else, and
yeah,
you know, some things happen. You know, it could be one day that he might, you know, be unwell one day and can't go. You know, things happen, don't they? So, you know, that'll be a good experience as well, just to. And it kind of, that helps me a little bit, because I kind of obviously want to win for myself, but I want to, you know, make him proud as well, even though he's not like. So, yeah, it's a win-win.
I think you're right, and I think the more different experiences that you can pick up along the way, you don't want the first time he's not in your corner to be in a UFC fight where suddenly you're like, no, he's been here every time I've won, and I'm not happy with this, and you know.
What's the word when you like this weird, you know, you just love a routine. I'm not like that as well. Like I had a sports psychologist, and it's like you can only control what you can control, and then if you start panicking about other stuff, then it's just going to go downhill from there. And you know, that's what I've learned that so much now, and stuff doesn't bother me anymore, because I'm like, right, well, I can't control that. What am I going to cry about that for? So my mindset is like so much different now, and I just feel like a completely different person, which is, it always sounds really cliche until you actually feel it, and then you think, I understand why, you know, the fighters go, I'm a different breed this time, but yeah, it's true. It does happen. There's like a click. It's like a switch, and I've noticed that. Like I said a couple of weeks ago to somebody at the gym, I was like, if I had my pro fight when I thought I was having a pro fight, it would be nowhere near as good as now. So I'm like so happy that it's happening now. So
you feel like you destroy the Levi of a year and a half ago?
Yeah, she just, like, when I watch myself, I just think, God, I'm rushing. The skills there, the fight IQ's there, but I'm rushing to like get the finish. I mean, pro rules is going to be so much better for me, because I've got more time to do what I want to do. Like in amateur, you've got 3 minutes. You're like, shit. First minute, you're thinking, I need to get in there. Or the first minute, like a couple of my fights, I'm just kind of pinned against the wall, falling asleep like an idiot, because sometimes like I need a bit of a kick up the ass to go. But we've worked on that, and that was more of a preparation thing mentally. Because when I was in the back, I would never want to hit pads hard. I would kind of just want to preserve my energy. But Matt was like, you are not going to get gassed out by hitting the pads hard before you fight. Like, don't be stupid. And I remember watching Cowboy Cerrone say the same thing, that he was like, he didn't want to hit the pads hard in the back, and like
I had a fear of that.
Yeah. And then in turn, that doesn't kick your fight or flight in. So like when I started fights, I was kind of, you know, moving around, and then eventually I would wake up, and then that's when, you know, I would get the finish, or I would you know, switch on massively.
Yeah.
But now I've worked on that, and I know that I just need to kickstart, and then I'd be, you know, fresh to go straight away. I sparred like full 3 5-minute rounds with you know, Joanne Doyle.
Yeah.
In the cage, and you know, that was good. It felt fresh. I felt like, you know, after 15 minutes I was fine, and then we did loads of wall work and loads of like wrestling after that. So it's like a good pace for me, pro. So I'm actually really excited for that.
I think you need, you know, that confidence of knowing that you can do it, and you can get through it, and like you say, hitting those pads in the beginning, like my fear was I didn't have a gas tank, so I very well could have been using up my energy in the back room.
Yeah, and I think the confidence is instilled more, because I've actually worked loads on my cardio. Like I bought a bike during lockdown, and I've absolutely been tanning the bike, you know, doing a bit of, not loads of running because I don't like it, but like different stuff and pads, bag work, all the different drills and stuff. And you know, I feel like in training, I used to be a bit gassed, thinking, shit, we've got half an hour left, like we've got wall work or we've got, you know, 5 MMA grappling rounds. But now at the end of the training, I'm like buzzing and got loads of energy still. So it's like I am definitely transitioning over to being like a pro athlete, and it's quite exciting actually. I just can't wait now.
You mentioned Joe Doyle there. That's another pro debut that I'm really, really excited for. Another great matchup. She's fighting Ivana Siric. That one's going to be amazing as well. So
Yeah.
you two getting in training together really makes me excited. Like that's brilliant. What's it like training with her?
It's good. It's a weird experience at the same time for me because I don't have any female training partners. I've never. Well, I have for different separate martial arts, obviously, like for
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu and things like that. And I did have a girl called Latifa who she had a baby now, so she's obviously a mom and she's looking after her baby. But I only ever really spar men, so
Yeah.
it was a bit weird for me to actually spar a woman, but it was good because it's like sometimes I forget that I actually am a girl
Yeah.
when I'm in the gym and I'm like, and then I find that I'll end up taking it easy on girls, and I think, why am I doing that? Like, that's such a stupid thing.
You've got a male mentality that you don't want to hurt them.
Because then I think to myself, if somebody went easy on me, I'd go mad. I'd be
Yeah.
like, why are you going easy on me because I'm a girl? But then I end up finding that I do that with girls, and I think, what an idiot! Like, why am I doing that? But I think it truly is because I'm with men all the time, and I just end up thinking that you are one. Like, it's just weird. It's such a weird mentality, but yeah, it was good training with Jo. She's a bigger flyweight, so that's kind of good because obviously it's no secret that, you know, Megan's bigger than me. I'm not a big flyweight.
Yeah, she fought at bantam before, Megan. So this fight is at flyweight, but you'd expect her to have a bit of a size advantage going into this fight.
I don't even think she's not. I don't think she's taller than me, and I don't even think she's broader than me. I think she's got like bigger like legs. Because some people hold the weight differently, don't they? Like I've got quite a long torso, believe it or not. Like I've got small legs and then like a really long body. So
I haven't noticed that about you. I'm gonna have to go back and look at a full-length photo now.
Like my obliques are like down here, and then like my neck's up here, so it's just so like I'm a proper weird shape. So that's why like I'm neither strawweight or flyweight. I'm kind of just, I can be bigger. Like I was not that long ago, I was 65 kilo, and you know I've not really been 65 kilo ever really. 65 kilo like muscular, not fat. So so that again, that's another thing that's installed confidence in me, is that I'm stronger now, I'm bigger. You know, I know how to lose weight. I know how to cut the weight. But I do believe she's got a lot more weight to cut than me, and I think that's an advantage, to be honest. I don't want to cut loads of weight, to be honest. When I cut weight for IMAF, I think those 2 performances, although I truly do believe I won both of them, I lost a split decision in both of them.
Yeah.
I think I was like, that was the worst performances I've ever had, because I was walking about, I was supposed to be 56.7 kilos, but I ended up having to pretty much starve myself because I didn't know what to weigh, because none of the scales would work, apart from the official ones. And obviously if you stand on the official scales and you're off, you can't fight. So I ended up 55 kilo walking around, and I was basically like a little drained skeleton, and it was like, I couldn't, the last thing I wanted to do when I was that weight was fight. So considering the performances that I did at that weight, now I just feel great that I can, you know, eat good, train, and weigh in when I need to. And
they're same day weigh-ins, aren't they? Or they're literally like, could be an hour before your fight.
Yeah, and that was the thing with IMAF, is obviously you weigh in and then you kind of just thrown into a room, and then that's it. You don't get told when you're on, because it could be anything. Is like 4 kgs on at once. The runners kind of don't really know what's going on.
That's so hard to know when to eat, when to drink, when to warm up, when to like. I think the kind of the unknowns and the uncertainty around IMAF is great, because you're never going to be in such an unknown situation again. So it's making you deal with it. But the downside is you haven't got a clue what's going on.
I just had such mad experiences with IMAF. Like, it's good, but it's just so crazy. Like, I remember having a drink before my fight. I had all my kit on, and I was like, my God, I'm dying for a wee. Like, where's the toilets? There was no toilets. I couldn't find one. And I ended up finding like this little, it was like a janitor's cupboard and all these different things. And there was a toilet. And I was like, yes. So then I opened the door, no lock, and there was no light. I was like, fucking hell, how am I supposed to have a wee? So then I had to like put my foot like on the door somehow, or my hand. And it was pitch black, and I was like, I cannot see a thing. And I had to like keep the door ajar so I could see what I was doing. And I thought, I should need to deal with this shit before I go in and have a fight with a random person. But I remember looking at myself, and then eventually I found a toilet that had, like, it was like a disabled toilet, had a big mirror in it, and I was like looking at myself like, sort your shit out, like, you're gonna go fight. And I was like talking to myself in the mirror, going, you need to like wake up, because I just felt so drained. Like, I had a rash guard on, and it was barely even tight. I was that small. I thought, fuck, I can't wait to like bulk back up again.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're the experiences that, you know, it adds to your character and personality, I think, as a fighter, and you kind of get
just having to deal with that situation, you know, like if you go through, and this is what I think about fighting on different promotions and different shows as well. Like, if you always get changed in the same changing room and warm up in the same room and wear the same kit and do going back to your thing about the superstitions, and like you always put your left like wrap on first or whatever, like you're setting yourself up for a freak out the day that it doesn't go like that. And I think going to IMAF and having that mad experience where you don't feel like you've got your preparation right, but you've got to do it anyway, and you got through it, and you performed, and you know you didn't get the decision, but like, you know, it will never get that bad again.
And it's one of them things where it is these experiences that help you. And I think a lot of people these days take amateur fighting like not that it shouldn't be professional, but they think that they need to have this perfect record, and that, you know, they can't ever come up against a challenge. You need to look perfect in order to become a professional. But I would rather make those weird, like, mad mistakes and have these weird experiences than have it now and then be like this totally naive person that thinks everything goes right, because no fight show goes right. You know, there's always something that goes wrong, or someone doesn't turn up, or, you know, something happens. And like I say, I think more amateurs need to go through that and have that like bit of an extensive career before they go into the pro career, because then it won't phase them then. Because I think people are shit scared, like you say, to have hard fights at pro at the start.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them at the same time, because, you know, people aren't looking at who you fought, they're just looking at your record, aren't they? Like, oh, that guy's 5-0. Whoa, he's really good, but he might have fought 5 shit people who fell over for him.
Yeah, I think most people within MMA realise that that's the case. And, you know, even when you see someone's record, the first thing you do is go on Tapology and see who they fought. And
I do that.
Yeah, because like you say, 5-0 if they're all cans is you know, not worth one real fight.
Yeah, and they could be good as well. Like, they could be really good, and you know, that's not aimed at one specific person, because it's happening often now, like very often. But like I said, I think it's more with the guys, because I think it's very hard for guys these days to get into the UFC, and they think that, you know, Dana's looking for this perfect record, which he is kind of. But, you know, you need these tough fights, because, you know, imagine if I went and fought loads of people who aren't very good, and then I get signed to the UFC and I fight somebody who's half decent and get my ass handed to me straight away, because I think it's going to be easy, and it's not. You know, I'd rather have tough fights. And, you know, like, people remember tough fights as well. Like, Mason Jones's debut on the UFC, he lost, but that was one of the best fights I've ever seen. And people remember that. It's not like, oh shit, he lost. He put on an amazing performance, and he's still signed. Dana wants him to fight. He's actually got another fight, hasn't he?
I think it's coming up. It's either in June or July. Yeah, he's fighting again soon.
So people know he's a savage, and I think that's what fighting's about. It's entertainment, isn't it? You know, I don't want to go and watch a fight where the guy or the girl or whoever falls over after getting hit a couple of times. I want to see a proper, everyone wants to see a good scrap, don't they? So
yeah,
that's exactly what I try and bring into my fights, is make it, interesting.
And both you girls prove that girls can have an extensive amateur career as well, because I know a lot of girls find it difficult to get matched up, and it is harder. There's less of you, and when fights fall through, it's more difficult to get replacements. So they do fall through more often. But you were 6-4 as an amateur. Megan's 8-4. I know you've both been to IMAF, so that's a few fights there on your record. But it is possible for girls to get the experience before they turn pro.
Yeah, and it's good. I think it's a good fight. I think it's probably better than me, flying in somebody European and fighting a random person. I think it's a little bit more, especially for UK MMA. Like, I think I wouldn't say, we're well known or whatever, but we are known within the
I
MMA.
think you are on the UK scene. You're well known, and like you say, if you flew in somebody European, she could be just as good. But if I don't know her, I'm not going to be as buzzing for this matchup as having followed both of you girls for a few years now. So it's just that element, and also people looking up your records afterwards, like knowing someone and going, "Wow, she did well against her."
Yeah, and I think it's made it interesting now, because I don't know if you saw the whole stories, like what Dakota put out and Megan and things like that. Did you see any of it?
No, I haven't. No.
And it was quite funny. Like, fair play to Dakota, because Dakota's been in the fight game for years, hasn't she? She knows what to say, to get a good fight. And she basically put like she wants the winner of me and Megan.
Okay.
Obviously, everybody can have their own opinions and say what they want. And then there was a bit on it saying like that we've turned down fights before, but I clarified with Dakota, it wasn't me that's turned the fight down, because I've not been offered it. It was actually Megan that's turned down a fight with Dakota. So, but then Megan put, when I win, I'll fight you. So that pissed me off, actually, because I said, like, I put on my story and I tagged Megan, I said, don't look past me, because I find that really disrespectful, to be honest, because I think the worst thing to do is start planning fights before you've had one.
Yeah.
You think like, she's a piece of piss, I'm going to go through her and then I'm going to fight Dakota. Well, now I'm pissed off. So now it's going to be very good, and I can't wait to actually fight now. So, yeah.
So there's some beef where there was none before.
Yeah, basically, because I've not got a problem with them. I didn't anyway, and now I do, because, like you say, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. And I could have easily.
Do you not think she was trying to come across as confident?
I don't know. I think it was just the way. Like, I was quite polite in my response to it. I was just basically like, in the nicest way possible, don't look past me. I said, if you wanted to fight Dakota, you would have, like I did.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've fought Dakota at amateur level.
Yeah, when nobody wanted to. So I was like, if you wanted to fight her, you would have fought her already, because she would have been offered her, And
yeah.
Megan said she only wants to fight on the international scene, which that makes no sense at amateur.
And so you lost the decision to Dakota, didn't you?
Yeah.
So would you love to get that fight back? I imagine you'd love to run that back.
Yeah, I personally think it's a really good fight to run back. I think I just wasn't ready at the time. You can make it as many excuses as you want in the book, and nobody's going to give a shit because you still lost. But I think, like I said, I think that was my third or fourth fight ever. Obviously, Dakota's had plenty of striking professional matches and things like that, and I just think.
And she fights at Manchester Top Team, right? She's at that gym.
Is she there now? I don't know, because I thought she was at Aspire and just came over during the lockdown, because obviously Manchester. And
oh yeah, possibly.
She may be actually fully at Manchester Top Team now. But yeah, I think at that time I didn't really know that much. Like, I was still fresh in amateur scene, and I think I was more worried about her striking being her dominant, martial art. Yeah. I just kind of my game plan went out the window. Second round obviously was much better. I got the big takedown and things like that. So it is a fight that I would definitely want again. And I knew it was going to happen. Like, it was inevitable that it was eventually going to happen again, because of how
there's not that many of you at that level.
Exactly. There's not that many of us, and it was a good fight anyway. Like loads of people. That's how
And
I
a
think.
great story now.
Yeah, and I think that's how my amateur career kind of got a bit better, because everyone was like, "Shit, that was a mad fight!" Like, "Oh my god, I was there," and like people comment on it was like, "That was a crazy fight." So why not do it again? You know, it's that's what I mean. Like I'm not bothered. Like I'm not scared. People are scared, and Dakota knows people are scared of her. Like fucking hell. You know, if I knew people were scared of me, I'm gonna play in it as well. I'm gonna call everybody out. You know what I mean? So it was a fun addition to it, because now more people are talking about it, and like Dakota even said, you know, it's publicity for everybody. So, but I didn't get a reply off Megan, so that was it. Didn't carry on, but oh well.
I'm not only buzzing for this fight now, I'm buzzing for potential future fights
Yeah.
for
So
all of you. Oh, I love it. Because, like, I mean, there doesn't really seem to be that much shit talking, like, on the UK scene, really. There'll be the occasional person who's upset someone, who's got something to say, but there generally doesn't seem to be much.
the thing is, like, I won't start it because, like, I kind of follow with Matt the way he approaches fights. Like, it's a fight, you're gonna fight each other. What's the point of starting shit? But me being where I'm from, and like my kind of personality is, I'm not gonna let someone take the piss out of me. Like
Yeah.
that really got on my nerves when she put that, because it was like when I win, and I thought, don't jump the gun. I would never say that, just because I just don't want to say that. I personally think I am going to win, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's just putting it out there just moved me off a little bit. I was just thinking, no, I'm not having that. So it's exciting now. I am excited for it. Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. I'm even more excited than I was when I first saw the announcement. I'm excited to see what other matchups get announced. I really do hope that you girls headline the card, because, like I said, this fight, the Joe Doyle fight that's going on soon, like, that really like shows the level that women's MMA in the UK is at. And
Yeah.
oh, for me, it's so exciting to see all of you coming through, and just I can't wait to see how much you've improved, because you were so good already, and it's just I'm buzzing for it.
It's exciting, and like I say, it's exciting to see further matchups as well. Like obviously me and Joe would never fight, because we're actually from the same gym now. Like, she's SBG, so we don't fight with people, But I'm really excited to see that fight. Obviously, that's a good matchup as well.
Really good.
With Sirich, so even for me as well, like, I think that's a cool fight.
How do you see that fight going?
I think Joe would probably end up subbing her, to be honest. I think she's going to probably get it to the ground, and she's going to grind her out from there. Joe's got a really good ground game, so I think, and she's not a bad striker either. I think people know her more for her grappling, and I think Ivana, she's quite striking heavy. Is she? I can't.
Definitely, her last fight was more striking. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's a really good matchup. Like I say, these type of fights are great. They can go either way, and that's the best type of fight. If you've got fights where you go, oh, they're easily going to win, then it's not good, is it? Like, it's good to see that the UK, the females are taking these good fights, and they're going to put good fights in for the shows. And then, like you say, the potential matchups are all there. So all these, like, I think the bigger promotions should have their eyes on these, because they keep flying in all the Europeans, and they're not using the UK girls that they've got. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think they're probably used to people not wanting to fight each other. Like, so yeah, I guess that's a shout out to the promoters to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get.
But it's like Cage Warriors. I don't think they've had a fight since Corey McKenna's last fight, and that was like 2019 or something.
See, I absolutely love watching Cage Warriors, and I think the matchmaking is wonderful, but there are not enough women. And before Corey, like, I know you fought on one Cage Warriors card.
I fought on these academies as well, didn't you? So I fought on Cage Warriors Academy for my debut, and then Cage Warriors 118 or something in Birmingham. So they've had amateurs on, but they've not put any pro females on for a long time.
Yeah, so we had Corey, and before that there was Molly. But it would be brilliant to to have more women coming through on Cage Warriors, and
Yeah.
you know, everyone they've had on there's been successful.
Exactly.
Joanna.
That's why it confuses me, because I think that surely like they want the next generation, you know, to go to the UFC as well. Obviously not yet, because we're very, very new with, you know, with debutants, but you want, you know, this is where it's going to happen, isn't it? These people, these young fighters coming through now are going to be the ones that eventually, you know, go into the UFC. So, you know, they want to. Maybe it's something in the pipeline, or maybe they just haven't got the right fights, like you say. So hopefully we can drum up some excitement and get those good matches going.
Yeah, I think they did find them hard to match, which like might be another reason for it. But whatever it is, they need to overcome that hurdle and definitely get more women on the card going forward. But yeah, I just want to wish you all the very best for the rest of your camp, Levi. I'm so excited to see you back in there. I'm delighted that you will just fight anyone, and that we've got such an exciting matchup. I can't wait to see you back in there showing us everything that you've learned.
I can't wait, actually. It'll be really good, and I hope everybody either's there or streaming it at least, so we can put on a good show.
Definitely. Do you want to shout out any sponsors or anything before we go?
Yeah, well, just all the usual guys. Obviously, CBD Life, George Holland, Total Sports Rehab, CH Productions, Hard Life Fightwear. You know, everybody. We all know Excess Guard as well. So yeah, thanks to those guys. Obviously, they've supported me throughout the the whole of lockdown as well. So it's exciting to put their name out there as well when I eventually fight again. So yeah, thank
Hard
you.
Life sent me a t-shirt as well. It's good stuff. I really like them.
I've got the shorts on right now, because after this I'm heading off to training. So yeah, they got some really good stuff. So yeah.
And I wanted to ask you what you're going to be fighting in, because you've got your Croatian fight shorts that I've seen. Like, what are you going to be wearing in there?
I'll be wearing that. And I think I just wanted to clarify, let everybody know that I'm not Croatian. That's not what it is. It's kind of paying homage to Crow Cop.
Yeah.
So it's the deadly left kick that he's got. So because I'm a southpaw as well, so I just love that, his left leg symmetry quote that he says.
Yeah.
So I want a bit of a a little special tribute to old Crow Cop there.
I love this.
Hopefully get that type of Crow Cop highlight finish as well. That'd be nice.
Imagine getting a Croatian following off the back of that. Just people who love seeing you fight in their flag. That'd be amazing.
I want to go to Croatia as well. It'd be cool to fight over there if they do have fights. So that would be pretty cool as well.
Amazing. Levi, you take care of yourself. Make sure that you make it fit and healthy all the way to the 31st of July.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
Thanks for chatting to me. Take care.
No problem. Bye.